Thunder Rock stands in the middle of a desert and attracts many tourists. Use the available space to build rides to attract more people. Now, to be honest, I think Thunder Rock is actually quite an eyesore. So I decided to give myself a challenge. Can we completely excavate Thunder Rock before we beat the scenario? Now, if you thought a Leafy Lake, if you thought the Leafy Lake challenge was tough, wait until you've seen this one. So for Leafy Lake, we needed around 70,000 to completely drain the lake. Well, excavating this mountain will take around 500,000. So yeah, I discussed this with some people, and some of them didn't even think it was possible. So that's all the more reason for me to give this a try. Now, I will use the same strategy as we used in Leafy Lake. So I will make some shuttle loop rides, or well, really short versions of that, which which drop guests into the void at their exit. So how do I do that? I simply raise the land in front of the exit, and guests exiting the ride will drop down and then disappear. They will not die, they will just disappear. And why I do that is just so the maximum amount of guests keep spawning. And the reason for that is because I will charge $40 for the entrance. Now, I checked the guests here, and the minimum each guest will carry is 40, so it can be in the range from 40 to 60. So yeah, by setting the entrance price to 40, I squeeze the most out of the guests entering the park, while making sure they can all enter it. So, what is my plan? Now, my plan is first to block off this entire section of the path. I'll probably also remove it. And then I will start by building some of the shuttle loop coasters over here. And I can probably also fit one or two here at the bottom. The chairlift, I will also remove it. And in the beginning, I will focus on lowering this part of the ground, so I can build more shuttle loops here. And when this area has been flattened, the shuttle loops will be situated right over here at ground level, which means the guests that ride it will disappear more quickly. So yeah, that's the plan. Now I just gotta put it in action. So I think it's time to get started. Now, first off, I think it's time to block off this area on top. And then when it's free of guests, I will simply remove the paths there. Now, to make it more fair, I have deleted my previous shuttle loop design, so I will have to make it anew. Again, I will make it, well, in the previous one I made it purple. I think here I will go for light orange. The only reason I do this is to get the most dazzling color schemes award. You could actually see me get it at the end of the video when I passed the scenario in Leafy Lake. So yeah, what do awards do? Well, they simply boost the amount of guests coming into your park temporarily. So that's a good thing to have. And there we go, our first looping roller coaster finished. Now, I'm not making a photo section on it. I could squeeze another $3 out of the guests and also make some profit on that. But yeah, I think the space is more important for us. So if we make a photo section, it becomes one tile longer, and then it will be a little bit more difficult to squeeze them in tight spaces like here. Also, I don't really think it's significant compared to the money we make with the entrance fee. Now, for the chairlift, I think it just takes space where we could fit one or more coasters. So I will simply remove it. This will be a perfect spot to fit another of these shuttle loops. Also, I should not forget to raise the land in front of the exits of these rides. Now, the raised land in front of the exit of these rides will become a problem if we are going to lower the land here. So yeah, I will just have to carefully lower the land so I don't affect these raised blocks here. As you can see, we now got the award for being the park with the most dazzling color schemes. So yeah, my strategy worked. And this should give us a temporary boost in the number of guests entering our park. So yeah, that's really good. Okay, now that we got some money, we should definitely do some advertisements, because they are the key to getting a lot of money. They cost money, but they bring in a lot more money than how much they cost. Now, the only advertisement campaign I'm not going to do is vouchers for free entry to the park, because I don't care about the number of guests in the park, I just want their money. So giving them free entry would defeat that purpose. Half price entry I'm okay with. It will probably bring in more money than what it costs. Alright, now if any of these rides here on the top break down, I think I will just delete them and replace them somewhere down here. That will make it so I don't have to be so careful when lowering the ground here. Another reason for this is that, yeah, I don't want the guests to have to walk all the way up in order to reach these looping coasters, because it just wastes time. I want the maximum amount of guests to spawn, so getting rid of them as quickly as possible is probably a good thing to do. Alright, I think I'm at a point where I can just start fast forwarding a bit and watch the money roll in. Okay, I now have quite a bit of money, so I'm going to start lowering this part here, so that if any of these coasters break down, I can replace it with a coaster down here. Alright, so you could already see how expensive this was. This was almost 15,000 worth in landscaping. So yeah, lowering this entire rock is going to cost me a lot of money. So again, I'm just going to fast forward until one of these rides break down, and then I will replace it down here. Okay, it looked like our first roller coaster broke down. Now, there's no path to the exit, so this mechanic will not be able to fix it. I will just remove the coaster, and I will replace it with a coaster that's down here. And that should enable the guests to get over here more quickly. Now, I don't know if you noticed earlier, but there was actually some rain before. So I think I'm just going to place an information kiosk. Now, yeah, I cannot really set the umbrella price to 20, because many of the guests will not be able to actually pay it. So if you paid attention earlier, like I said, the guests have a minimum of 40 and a maximum of 60 bucks. So this one just entered the park and it has 20 left. And the people with 50, they will have 10 left after they enter the park. So yeah, after it starts raining, I want as many guests as possible to actually be able to buy one of these umbrellas. So I will just set the price to 10, and I hope that will give me more money than I would when I just got money of the people who have 60. So yeah, we will see. It only really matters when it's actually raining. I'm not really sure if it actually matters if I set the price this high. We will see. Also, by the way, I disabled the notifications for rides not having a path on one of their exits or entrances, because if I didn't, I would go nuts here. Now, if you're not familiar with how advertising works, I can just set vouchers for half price entry to the park, but most of the guests will still pay the full price. The reason this works is that when you select an advertisement campaign, the campaign generates extra guests, and only those extra guests will have the vouchers for half price entry to the park. So yeah, the normal guests, the guests that would spawn normally, are not affected. So I will still gain a lot of money from most guests. Now, something I forgot to do is to set the funding to 0, because so we don't need any more rides than the looping coaster. So not funding will save us some money in the long run. Okay, we're in April year 2 now, and we've done quite a small portion of Thunder Rock. So yeah, it will be exciting to see if we can actually make it, but I've got a good feeling about this. Okay, I'm now going to simply remove these coasters here on top and also demolish the path towards them, so that I can simply build on this lower level, and that way the guests also don't have to travel all the way upwards anymore. Okay, we're in year 3 now, we're halfway there. So yeah, still a lot of Thunder Rock to excavate. So yeah, even if we do make it, it will be tight. Now, something I'm going to try now is just lowering the umbrella prices, because then everybody will buy them. And since the guests will disappear quite quickly, I think I might make more profit selling umbrellas at a normal price than if I would put them at a higher price, because it doesn't really rain that often here. So let's just see how it goes. Now, I could add extra rides now, but I think that we're at about the maximum spawn rate for guests that we can already have. So yeah, adding extra rides, I think it will not do anything to improve the situation. So really all we can do now is wait until we get more money. So yeah, we're halfway down year 3. So yeah, I'm not really sure if we will be able to do this, but let's just keep going and find out. Now, there's also a refurbish button in Open Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. I don't know if it actually also resets the breakdowns. Okay, I have to close the ride. Okay, it stays broken down, so the refurbish doesn't fix those. So sadly, I cannot use that. That would actually be very convenient. But I'll just rebuild them. The reason I rebuild them and don't actually fix them is because there's no way for the mechanics to get to the exit. And doing it like this is definitely faster. Now, the reason I have this right here is because yeah, I also run an advertisement campaign for free rides on a particular ride, and if that ride has a very low price, then the advertisement campaign will only be, I think, 1/8 of its normal strength. So yeah, that's why I put this ride here. It has an admission price that's quite high, but guests are not actually able to reach it. So yeah, the advertisement campaign for this ride will be more effective without the guests actually being able to reach it. So I think that's quite good. The guests will just head to these other rides. Now, I think this means I can also just connect the exit path so that mechanics will actually be able to fix this ride. Because guests won't be going to the void for this ride anyway. Okay, we're in year 4 now. We still have quite a lot to go. So yeah, this challenge is starting to look more and more impossible. I will just see how far I get. We might still be able to make it. But yeah, it will be very close. Okay, I just placed a drink stall because I noticed that the guests are actually slightly thirsty when they enter the park, but it's not enough to actually get them to buy drinks. But the good thing about having a drink shop is that we can actually set an advertisement campaign for free drinks. So yeah, I actually forgot that while starting this scenario. So yeah, that's a shame, because we could have had a lot more guests in the park, which means we could have had a lot more money. And who knows, it might have been enough to actually get rid of this eyesore that is called Thunder Rock. Because yeah, you can see we're actually quite close to removing it, but I don't think we will actually have quite enough money to completely get rid of it. Let's just fast forward now until the end. But yeah, for sure, I don't think we will be able to beat the scenario, because for that we will need 900 guests. And right now we're still getting rid of all of them. Alright, it looks like we failed the challenge. There's still a bit of Thunder Rock standing. But yeah, I got quite far in removing it. But yeah, I think it still should be possible. I'm not sure how much this would actually cost me to remove. But yeah, I think it's frustrating that I actually got so close and didn't make it. So do I give up here? Well, if you know me, you know that I won't give up just yet. So what I will do instead is I will try this again. Now I will use some different tactics in the next attempt. I think I will place the information kiosk right in front of the entrance, so as many guests as possible pass by and buy an umbrella. I will make a photo section on these rides in the new attempt. I will also try and see how much I can actually charge for these rides while guests still ride them, and that should offset the running costs for these rides. I mean, it's the entrance fee is at 40 now, and guests will only be willing to pay 1/4 of what they normally will if you charge a park entrance fee. So I'm imagining we should be able to charge something for these rides at least. Now another thing I will do is these corkscrew coasters actually become available quite soon after the start, and they actually take less space than these looping coasters. So I'm figuring we could probably use these instead, and that should help us with some of the space constraints we have here. Now, like I said, I built the drink stall. Guests won't actually buy any drinks from it. So we will have some running costs, but that will definitely be offset by the advertisement campaign we can run for it, which should bring in a lot of extra guests who will all pay a park entrance fee. So yeah, that should definitely offset the running cost we have. Alright, I think we can go for our second attempt and see if it's actually possible to completely excavate this rock before the end of year 4. Alright, so instead of now losing money with all of these coasters, I actually get a little bit of money back. This one actually made me some profit, and so did this one, but of course I had the advertisement campaign for this one, so it's a little bit more popular. But still, I guess it's better than losing like 200 every hour on every coaster. So yeah, this should make it a little bit more easy for me. Okay, it looks like the corkscrew coaster became available, so now I will just make a design that's very much like this one, but instead of a loop we will have a corkscrew, which should take less space. Oh, I just realized I have some handymen walking around. But guests won't actually be able to get nauseous in this park, and they won't buy any drinks. So yeah, there will not really be anything to do for the handyman. So yeah, good way to save some money. Just bye-bye handyman. Alright, just going to make some extra coasters now, and yeah, I think the money is rolling in faster than in the previous attempt. So yeah, let's just see how this keeps going. Now again, I'm going to make a ride here in the back that will actually be reachable by the mechanics, but that just serves to make the advertisement campaign for free rides on a particular ride more effective. Okay, what I'm going to do now is that for this corkscrew coaster over here, I'm actually going to connect the exit to a path. And that way some of the guests will actually ride this coaster and they will exit it here. And I will make some shops here, because happy guests, I believe they will buy some balloons, maybe some t-shirts. And that should just allow me to squeeze a little bit extra out of the guests. I'm not sure if it's enough, but we can at least try. Now I checked before, and guests who just entered the park, they wouldn't buy anything yet. So it could be that the guests also need to be in the park for a certain amount of time before they will actually buy something off the shops. Right now it does actually look like that. So yeah, that's a strategy that's not going to work. But at least the guests that enter this ride, they will pay to enter the ride. They may pay to enter another ride. So yeah, this I don't know, this might just help squeeze a little bit extra money out of the guests, because we're going to need it for sure. Now, one thing I can see here is that these rides practically sell no unride photos. So yeah, it's probably not even worth having a photo section on these rides. So yeah, I learned something new today. So yeah, I'm not really sure what a guest needs to do in order to buy an unride photo. Again, maybe he needs to be in the park for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure. It looks like this ride here in the middle, which does have its exit connected, is actually selling the most on-ride photos. I think it's from guests who keep going back to the coaster and thereby staying in the park for longer. So it could be related to the amount of time guests are in the park, or actually how happy they are. So what I think I will do is I will connect some of these exits to the path and see if it helps a bit. Now of course it will get a little bit more crowded in the park, so I will actually need a handyman or two now. Okay, we're now at the end of year 3 and it looks like we are now basically where we finished in the last attempt. So still quite a bit of Thunder Rock left, but I think we should be able to get rid of this, especially since I already made it a bit lower as well. So let's see how far we get this time. Okay, we're now again in the end of... Well, now again we're in October of year 4. And yeah, it looks like again we're not going to make it, but we're gonna get frustratingly close. So a few things that I noticed. I added these 6 roller coasters just to see if it would affect the spawn rate, but it didn't. So adding extra rides above a certain number doesn't add to the spawn rate. So the spawn rate is already at the maximum. Now something else. Most of our money right now is going to marketing, well, other than the landscaping costs. And we can actually save on the marketing by only doing 2-week campaigns. You get 3 weeks that the campaigns are actually running. Or 3 days actually. So if we just keep doing that, then that should actually give us more money to spend on landscaping. I don't know how significant it will be in the end, but it's just this little piece of land that's remaining. It's already quite a bit lower, so it shouldn't cost that much to lower it. But this is sad. Anyway, something else I'm doing now is as soon as it starts raining, I'm going to charge 10 euros for my umbrellas, and the guests who enter the park with 50 or 60 bucks, they will be able to buy an umbrella. So the people who enter with 40, they're out of luck because they will immediately run out of money when they enter the park. But this is a significant boost to the cash I have. And as soon as it stops raining, I drop down the umbrella price back to, I believe at 350 or something. But that at least ensures that guests are buying umbrellas year round. Because most of them, they will only ride one ride before they disappear into the void. So it will be good if they will at least have bought an umbrella. And it's one of the few health items that guests will buy, even if they just entered the park. So, this attempt, it will not succeed. So I'm going to try once more. And in the next attempt, I will do all these advertisement campaigns at the same time each time. For 2 weeks, and hopefully that will give me just enough money to be able to clear all of Thunder Rock before the end of year 4. Okay, one thing I noticed now is that actually in the month of May we got almost 21,000 in park entrance tickets. Now that's a number I haven't seen before, that's very high. And the number of coasters we have in the park is not that particularly high. So I don't think the guest spawn rate will actually get any higher than this. So I think I will just keep the number of coasters like this. That also should save us money on operating costs. And yeah, let's see if we can actually manage to beat it this time. And of course, as soon as it starts raining, I will increase the price of umbrellas. Okay, we're now in our third attempt in October of year 3. Now, it may look like there's still a lot left, but it's actually much lower than how it started. Now, I was just thinking, for the rainy months, a lot of guests will crowd in the park, because they will not enter the rides. I will make a lot of money on umbrellas, but what I'm going to do now is just place one of these rides underground. So yeah, I'll just lower it again in the end. But yeah, this should make sure that guests will at least have one ride that they can ride while it's rainy. Alright, it looks like we're finally going to be able to fully excavate Thunder Rock. Now, with this spawn rate, I'm not sure, but it could actually be possible to also get the required amount of guests into the park. So what I'm going to do now is connect all these exits to a path to keep all the guests in the park and see if we can actually get the required number of guests into it. I'm not sure if we will be able to do it. We have August, September and October to do it. So yeah, if we're quick about it, maybe it should be possible. Now, I'm not going to count this part as Thunder Rock, because it's I made this and it's not part of the original scenario. Well, it is part, but it's not part of the original Thunder Rock. So I'm just going to give it a different color to distinguish it. Alright, I'm now just going to connect all the exits to a path, so we keep all the guests. Actually, I will just remove the ground here, because it will be look nicer if everything is flat in the end. Alright, and then here we have the last piece of ground that needs to be lowered. And that's it. We have lowered, well, we have excavated all of Thunder Rock. We have removed the eyesore from this beautiful desert. And it's now completely flat, as it should be. Alright, now I'm just going to check how many guests we can still get into the park. I will lower the entrance fee, so guests stop leaving. I should have probably done that a little bit earlier, but okay. In fact, I will make it completely free, just like Discord. Alright, I can stop advertising now, because we have the 900 required guests and the park rating of at least 600. So now I'm just going to fast forward until we beat the scenario. Now, yeah, let's just fast forward. Alright, we did it. So yeah, let's talk about what was the key to success in this scenario. Well, I think what made the biggest difference in this last and successful attempt was that I just limited the amount of coasters. So yeah, around 10 was all that was required to get the maximum spawn rate for the guests. And I would try to make sure that every month I would get in around 19,000-20,000 euros. Now, something that also was different in the strategy in this round was that for the advertisement campaigns, every time I only ran them for 2 weeks. And that in the end gives you some free days of advertisement. Now, this may not sound like much, but in the long run it saves you a lot of money. So yeah, credits to Marcel Vos for coming up with with this method of saving money on advertisements. It was really important in this run. Now, other than that, I just saved money on staff. I only did the required research for the rides. So yeah, there were just a lot of things I could save money on. But yeah, in the end, after 3 attempts, I'm really happy that I was able to do this. It was a really fun challenge, and indeed was much harder than the one I did in Leafy Lake. So yeah, if you know any other challenges for me to do, let me know in the comments. I'm always ready to do a few more of these. But yeah, for sure, this was pretty challenging, but very fun to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.